Stay tuned. The show is about to begin. Welcome everybody. Good evening. Can you please give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Hello. Happy Monday. So excited to be here with you all. Yay. Hello, Elizabeth, Taryn, whoever watching on YouTube. I'm so grateful that you're here. Marianne Baker is probably watching. And anyone listening to the replay on Spotify or watching for the replay on YouTube, I'm so grateful for you. Subscribe, leave a comment. I would love to connect. Or how about you hop on over to Fireside so that you can join the conversation. Yay. Welcome. Hello, Liv. Welcome to Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace. It is Monday, July 10th, and what a week last week, and what a week it's already positioned to be. And just in general, it's just things keep coming up and things keep popping and we keep succeeding, and it's just, the flow. We're flowing. We are flowing. So we have a few things to discuss because there's a lot happening as the end of the year progresses into Pluto, which is right now retrograding in Capricorn, and it's like taking 10 steps back to then go forward full force next year when it transitions into Aquarius. And I honestly feel like Pluto in Aquarius is what the age of Aquarius is all about. So we're going to be talking about it in the next few months. What to expect? What does it mean? We do know that Aquarius is all about humanity. It's all about, the people, right? Aquarius pours the water. It's all about service and community. And so I think we have kind of seen or proven collectively how we can all unite forces for what we want, right? We see that's Aquarius. How we can fight for equality, how we, pull together resources to all in all just do what we can to benefit the, collective. All of those things I just mentioned, that's all Aquarius. And then you add Pluto to the mix and, it becomes a revolution. It becomes a picket line. It becomes people getting hurt in the streets because they're fighting for what they want. And so that's going to be next year. And Pluto is like, when Pluto transitions into a new sign, it is generational because it lasts 15, 20, 30 years. And so, yeah, I'm not necessarily excited, but I'm looking forward to it in a way, just because it's a major shift. But that's next year. We do have some important changes or transits, right, happening as we speak. And so we're going to talk about it because today is the first quarter of the moon. And even though we could pretty much just discuss the moon and move on from that, I think the fact that Mercury is opposite Pluto starting this week, and it's going to last until August 27th, that's going to bring up negativity for the same reason that Pluto, Pluto is just kind of very, so you know how I've said that Saturn is the stern parental figure. Today I was messaging with a client and I said Saturn is like the high school principal that wants you to just get over your teenage, irresponsibility and do things the right way, right? Saturn is like that, very stern and lesson oriented. And then Pluto, it's just very triggering because it brings up all of the discomfort. Pluto brings up transformation. Pluto brings up like the growing pains of life. And if you've been through trauma, which I don't know a person who hasn't in one way or another, then Pluto brings that up, especially when it's opposite Mercury, because Mercury is ideas, thoughts, communication. And so all of that to say, be ready, brace yourself. I posted earlier about the emotional toolkit. We've talked about it. What is in your emotional toolkit? We can talk about it. Not emotional toolkit, just self-care or emotional, what do you want to call it, right? Your toolkit for not living your best life, but for your mental wellness and for the wellness of your soul. What is in that toolkit? Because I feel like this would be the perfect time to kind of do an inventory of how are we on this toolkit and what's in it and how can I use it, and how do I feel about this, or have I changed my mind about things? Maybe a week ago you wanted to take a walk and now you're hurt and you can't go take a walk. So that's one of those examples of like moving forward during this transit of Mercury again, opposite Pluto, which is kind of against, I said that word just now, right? What do you do if the tools that you're used to kind of reaching for are no longer available? That kind of question is the perfect question to kind of prepare for the things that may come up in this next, the rest of the month with Mercury opposite Pluto. So I feel like that's the major transit happening this week that I really wanted to bring up, because I said earlier, I apologize, my eye itches. I said earlier on my Instagram post that Mercury is hanging out with Neptune. Okay, let me explain. You know how I love to just translate things into ways that everybody can understand, like, hanging out and against instead of opposite. But what I meant is that Mercury is trine Neptune, and we've talked about trine, triangles, and squares, and all these astrological terms. And the energy of a trine is very productive, graceful, and just nice. And so that's all well and good with Mercury trine Neptune. But starting today, Mercury is opposite Pluto, which means they're facing each other, and they're just it means opposition essentially. And that's really what I wanted to bring up. I feel like for some of us, when different planets are opposite Pluto, a lot of inner child work comes to the surface. I've compared notes with a few of you because I go through these motions as well. And so that's been one of the commonalities that we have experienced in previous oppositional transits with Pluto. And then if you are not in tune, or if you're not aware of your emotional needs, thank you. If you're not aware of your emotional needs, then you will be triggered. And I don't want anyone to be triggered, because you're going to be triggered, and then that gives me more work to do because I'll be following up, like, how are you doing? Because I know we're going through it. So that's going to be this week, everybody. Brace yourself and pay attention to what your emotional tools or tools for emotional wellness are. Okay. All right. So we started actually today with the moon in Aries, but by now, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the moon is in Taurus, and it's going to be in Taurus until Wednesday. And the thing about the moon in Taurus is that Taurus is an earth sign. It's fixed, so that means that it's just, think about earth times like a million, right? We've talked about this before. And Taurus is very concerned with security, safety, finances, and just your life on the land of the living. And I like to remind all of us that when the moon is in Taurus, it's going to bring up all of these things. And depending on your relation, you're going to feel a certain way depending on your relationship to your surroundings, depending on your relationship to the things that you have accomplished, depending on your relationship to your comfort or your level of security or lack thereof. And I say that because of the logic, right? Of the moon, the fact that the moon is all about emotions. And so how do you feel about, right? How do you feel about your mess? How do you feel about your actual circumstances? How do you feel about your sense of safety and security or a lack thereof? Those are all questions that you could benefit from if you were, for example, to journal while the moon is in Taurus. And then it's going to move into Gemini, and Gemini is an air sign. And I feel like the moon in Gemini is always very creative and it's always very out there. And that's all well and good. Moving into Cancer, an air sign like Gemini, I feel like it's a great opportunity. I'm flipping the page because then it's the new moon next Monday, and I'm excited about that. But the moon in an air sign is always a great opportunity to make sense of things. And so if you think about it, Mercury opposite Pluto is going to trigger, it's going to bring up a lot. So what better use of your time if you are in distress emotionally or mentally during this week than to take a moment to really make sense of your thoughts, your ideas, or what is coming up? Because it's like we've mentioned or we've heard how a trigger is a clue, or a trigger is the door to what needs to be healed, or fear is also a clue. I think we've heard some of these things. And so if you're going to be triggered this week, if you end up being triggered this week, then pay attention to how you react to that trigger, right? I feel like a great sign of improvement or of growth is when we become triggered and we hold space for ourselves, or we move on from it because we see, acknowledge, and ignore, or just a sign of growth, right? As opposed to being triggered and throwing a tantrum the way a child would when there's a lack of emotional intelligence, right? And so having these conversations in preparation for the week ahead it's always worked for me, right? It's always just worked to have that awareness of what could happen, because another disclaimer that we've shared before is how some of the things, well, all of the things brought up in astrology don't apply to everyone. And if they apply to everyone because we're all on the same planet and under the same, influence, they don't apply to everyone in the same way, because you have a planetary chart and so do I. So, this resonates different for everybody. And of course, we could get into all the details of how, the Mercury opposite Pluto is going to affect only the signs, so and so. We could get into all of that, but we're here to talk about the moon. So there you go. Taurus until Wednesday. Gemini, the moon will be in Gemini Thursday, Friday, and most of Saturday. And then it transitions into Cancer Sunday. And then we have the new moon next week. And as you know, the new moon is one of my favorite, full moon and new moon. The new moon is my favorite because it really concerns your plans moving forward, your intentions. And I would love to talk about that today, but we're going to expound on it next week, because just like changes, we tend to think of the word change and sometimes be bothered and be triggered by it because our brain just goes to the extreme. And Mercury against opposite Pluto is the epitome of catastrophizing, right? Ideas. And then Pluto is like the worst case scenario, right? So this week, for those of us, I raise my hand because I'm a total catastrophizer. Is that the word? Okay. Like my mind's eye will see a total accident in front of us and nothing has happened, just like an alternate reality. Is so bizarre. And I have to remind myself, like, whoa, blink, blink, like that didn't happen and we're safe and let's keep going. It's not fun all the time. And so catastrophizing will come up. Taryn, I can't see what you said. Let me see what Taryn is saying. I see your little, me too. That's right. So this week, get ready for it and remind yourself that catastrophizing may not be you or, your soul telling you something, but it just may be the influence of Mercury opposite Pluto. So there you go. And in preparation for it is always just another, ace up my sleeve, because once it happens, I can really sit down and ponder, like, is this really telling me something? Do I really need to take a look at this, or can I ignore it and move on with my day? Which is like, I don't know, a huge step. This is where I was going. We tend to catastrophize and see the word change or see the word, new behavior. Like, every time I bring up new behaviors or changes, it tends to be really intimidating. But in reality, if you think about it, a change can be as tiny as saying, I really want to wake up earlier than I already do. And we're already like so intimidated by the thought of waking up a half hour earlier or an hour earlier. Like, we go just way too far. How about you set your alarm to 1 minute earlier than you woke up today? That's a tiny little change, and we don't seem to really look at things and ponder like the simplicity of it and how huge it could be. You wake up 1 minute earlier tomorrow, then the next day maybe you wake up 2 minutes earlier. Elizabeth liked that option, right? Like, we don't really see sometimes how simple a change can make a huge difference, because we tend to think of change as something huge. And I feel like that might come up this week. And at the same time, I want to encourage all of us to recognize the little steps we have already taken and to really take a look at the little tiny steps that we continue to take, and to acknowledge and to celebrate those little tiny steps. And sometimes it is such a small step. Let me see, something that I've been doing for the past few weeks that I wasn't doing before is making that lemon milk that I posted, that I will forever be making it. So there you go. And at the first 2 weeks, I would go about my day and forget about it. And now I drink it every single day before I drink anything else. It's in my Instagram, and if you want the recipe, just leave me a comment. But I didn't make it up either. Like, this drink is all over TikTok. It's viral and it's good for your health, gut health, and all of these other things. And so I love lemons. I love limes. I love smoothies. I could juice all day. And so, well, like juicing, not steroids. And so when I found out this recipe, I said, I love this. I'm going to make it every day. And I would make a jar. And then once I made the jar, I said, I love this. I'm going to drink it every day. And then I would forget, right? And then I got into the habit of it. And so it's like those little things. I want to be able to assess 4 weeks into that. How do I feel now that I've been drinking this? How is my gluten intolerance now that I've been drinking this? So on and so forth. I feel like I'm babbling, but I know you get the point. Awareness is magic. That's what Deepak Chopra said. And for me, it's been journaling. Journaling is what helps me be aware and slowing down, because if I don't slow down, then I don't see things. And by seeing, I mean, feel, hear, and just be in the moment. So that's all that's happening this week. And then the new moon next week happening in Cancer. The sun is in Cancer as well. So it's like a double whammy of nurturing energy. Let's review. What's Cancer all about? Our mushy feelings, that's like my favorite thing that comes up when I think about the crab, right? That hard shell that it's like, soft inside. And that's Cancer. So the sun in Cancer and the moon in Cancer, it's, think about it. The moon is all of the emotional and the sun is all of the intellect. So, just off the top of my head, if you are not satisfied with your living situation, you're going to be triggered because your emotions will be in that same alignment of acknowledging that you are dissatisfied. There's the logic of the sun in Cancer, and then there's the moon in Cancer, telling you to feel it. If you are currently at odds with all of your interpersonal relationships, I know nobody in this room is, but just throwing it out there. Or if you're struggling with an interpersonal relationship, let's just minimize it to just one, which I think all of us can relate to, then you might be triggered when the sun is in Cancer, pointing out, just kind of reminding you of that. And then the moon in Cancer calling you out on the fact that you need to feel it and just move through that emotion and transmute it instead of just, burying it deeper or denying it, right? There's no denial in the journey of growth. If you're growing, then you're not denying anything, right? You're paying attention and then acting accordingly. And so all of that next week, here the book, my book, let's see, what does it say? The Desires of Your Heart Guide the Way. That's next week. But for this week, the last quarter of the moon, wait, I said first quarter earlier? The last quarter of the moon. It's halfway waning. Trust and surrender. Trust and surrender. The waning moon is all about releasing. We've been talking about it since last week. The waning moon wants you to assess what came up during the full moon, what was illuminated, what came up for you during the full moon. And now what is negative from all of that came up, right? We want to treasure the positive and let go of the negative. And the negative right now may have been a positive a year ago, and now it's not a positive anymore. That takes a lot of emotional intelligence and emotional maturity to look at that difference and say, well, this doesn't serve me anymore. Bye. So what came up, because the waning moon leading up to the new moon really encourages you to release and relinquish and surrender. And I know how difficult it is to let go or to relinquish control. What do you need to let go of? We also tend to kind of take that phrase to the extreme and think that when we let go of something, it means that we no longer ever mention it, or that it's no longer in our lives, or that it no longer, well, I guess it's no longer in our lives, right? But the way I've experienced letting go sometimes is a question of what are some behaviors that I don't want to do anymore? And me stopping a behavior is letting go of that behavior. See? Or letting go of food has been a journey for me because I wasn't always intolerant to gluten. And I used to say, there you go, I used to say bread is life. And I had to look at my sensitivity knowing that bread was actually hurting me. And I had to really assess the fact that I should really not say words like bread is life because it's not for me. And so I let go of that, and I haven't said it in a while. It's the first time I say it in a few. And so those are the little things. It doesn't mean the big scary picture that we sometimes make it out to be. I hope that makes sense. Let me give me some reactions if it makes sense, and you're welcome to come up and say hello. I would love to catch up with you. And let's see, I'm not sure if Taryn is coming up. Taryn. And in the description, in the chat, I posted my link tree. Hello, Taryn. Good evening. Would you like to be on camera?
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Ooh, it's a party. Let's see. How do I do this? Okay. All right.
Hi.
I love that you're here. Good evening. How are you? Yes,
I missed
everybody.
this so much. It's been so nice. I forgot what it's like. I remember the first time I came to a Hey Moon Magic and Mindfulness, and I was listening to you and I was like, "Oh my god, like this is my life. This is what's happening. She's telling me what's happening in my life. This is crazy." And I knew a little bit about astrology and the moon. Like I like the moon, but not this much. And it's still so exciting to come and hear you just like real talk, like you really put a lot into it. So I'm I'm so glad to be here. I'm so glad to be back.
Yes, we're glad that you're back. And what you're doing in the morning is so cute. So just keep
Thank
at it. I
you.
love it so much. I don't watch it as early because I try not to be on the phone. But yeah, Good Morning Sunshine is a total hit. So I'm so excited. And thank you for being here. There's a lot going on too because Venus is in Leo or something like that. So if you ever want to just catch up privately, I'm here for you. I'm so
I
excited.
do. I would love that because yeah, especially with just I'm particularly interested in the last few weeks. Um some like really interesting things, not just like for instance, and this may have been something that you've talked about before, so but for instance, there were a lot of vehicles breaking down and a lot of like car accidents in the last several days, like I would say, I guess over the weekend.
Mhm.
um which like that's typically like a Mercury thing, right?
I'm so sorry. Can you please repeat that? Because
Yeah.
what is it about Mercury?
So
Somebody came into the room.
transportation
Oh
and
yeah,
like
transporting, communicating, driving, but driving cars is more Mars that really
okay.
directs the traffic. But yes, Mercury, flights delayed, emails not sending. Oh my gosh, I sent an email 3 times earlier because it wasn't sending, and I'm like, why is this email not sending? Let me send it again. And I sent it again. And then once I got into the car and kind of like the Wi-Fi refreshed, that person has my email 3 times in their inbox. That's so embarrassing. That's the type of thing that happens with Mercury. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, okay. I've had a lot of mine get blocked lately, so but
Mm.
yeah, we should definitely catch up. But I just wanted to say thank you. I was kind of winding down. I'm actually ready for the meditation so I can just like drift off to sleep after that. So but I just had to come up and say thank you for doing this and for, for all of us. And it's really good to be back and share in all of this wisdom that you have. So
Oh,
thank you. Good
Taryn,
night. I
thank
love
you.
you.
Good night. I love you. Thank you so much. Yes. Oh, I love it. Everybody give her a round of applause. Thank you so much, Taryn. We love you so much. And yeah, so feel free to request the mic. I think that's what we say on Twitter, but here too, I think. Or just send a message and that's a request essentially. But yeah, as you know, the longer episodes are the full moon and the new moon, where we get to discuss all of the things. So let's go into the affirmations and let's go straight into the meditation because clearly somebody needs me in the land of the living. And Taryn is ready for bed. Since Taryn is ready for bed, then let's get to it. No, but for real, I'm so grateful and so excited. So, last quarter today, remember, release, relinquish, let go of. What is it that you're being called to let go of or relinquish or surrender? And with that in mind, remember that letting go of something creates a vacuum for something new to come in. We're going to talk about that next week. You want to make sure that you are on the lookout, aware and present and grounded so that whatever comes into your empty vessel is of good is for you and not just some kind of glitch in the matrix. Okay. And the affirmation for this week is I trust the process. How many of us can say that? I trust the process and I know that I am protected. I feel like they're kind of, sometimes these affirmations sound, what's the word? Hang on. Kind of ambitious. There you go. That's the word. Kind of ambitious. Like, I know that I am protected. Like, do you really know, right? Do we get out of our house and really know that we are guided, safe, protected, cared for, right? So sometimes these affirmations either hit the spot or it can actually be kind of, eye-opening in that sense, at least for me. My heart knows the way. I love that one. These are the affirmations from Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace 2023 Manifestation Agenda / Journal. We are past the half point, everybody. We are in July and we are halfway through this book. Oh my gosh, what a year it's been. So that's it. Nice and short. Thank you. Thank you again. Let's do this meditation. I hope you hear it. And if not, then put some sound over where you are. But this should work. I know I'm using my microphone today. But music for this meditation is brought to you by Brain FM. You can find a free trial and a discount code in the link in the description. At the bottom of my link tree, it says, join Brain FM. I've been using this since 2021. Yeah, sorry. Sometimes I forget what year we're on. 2021, every day. And it's just wonderful. My favorite is the underwater setting because you really feel like you're underwater floating and just totally relaxed. So both feet on the ground. If you are Taryn, then you're laying down. Get comfortable and follow my lead as I guide you through some breath work and some affirmations. Focus on your normal breathing, nice and slow. Nice and slow, in and out, steady. And with me, take a deep breath in through your nose. Nice and slow. We're not in a hurry. Just deep breath in. Fill your lungs all the way. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it out through your mouth. Nice and slow, 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 long breath out. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. And breathe in again through your nose. Deep, 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 deep. If you're laying down, a big belly breath. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. And breathe out through your mouth. Nice and long breath out. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. And breathe normal. If you need to gasp, it's okay. Just settle into that exhale and just flow into that breath, nice and slow. And with your eyes closed, I want you to imagine that we are all in this room, sitting on the dirt around a crackling fire, and it moves and it sparkles, and we are in this moment collectively united to support each other and to witness each other as we each decide what we need or want to toss into the fire and watch it burn and let it go. And with love and care, we hold space for each other because it feels so good to be in this moment, to have come this far, and to know that after this moment, the best is yet to come. With me, take a deep breath in through your nose. Deep, deep breath in all the way. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it out through your mouth. Long breath out. Hold your breath again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in again through your nose. Just a deep, 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 deep breath in. Hold it at the top. 1. And exhale nice and slow. Long breath out. Hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And relax. And as you relax, and we sit around this fire, we bring our hands to our chest and remember, I trust the process and know that I am protected. My heart knows the way. I release and let go of anything or anyone who does not align with the life I am working to create. I am so grateful for many opportunities of growth and the many days that I get to experience the best that life has for me. With me, take one last breath in. Long breath in through your nose. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it out through your mouth, nice and slow. Long breath out. Hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And one last time. Long, deep breath in. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale nice and slow. Hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And relax. And slowly bring your awareness to your body. Wiggle your toes. Open your eyes and come back to me. Yeah. All right, everybody. That's it. Yay. Thank you for your hearts. Thank you, Claire and Taryn and Elizabeth. Thank you, Quintine Brown. Thank you for being here. Ron, let's see who else is here. Liv, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming. Cicely Marie Goose is here. So grateful for you. And Sarah, thank you all for being here. Oh, Claire, I appreciate you. Would you like to come up? I'm not sure if this is, there you go. Let's see if Claire would like to come and say hello. No pressure. But just know that here on Fireside, when you leave a comment, it on the side of the host, it appears as a request for the mic. So maybe that's why you might be receiving those if you didn't know. But you're always welcome to request the mic and join the conversation and ask any questions. Most importantly, if you would like to have a conversation in private, as we should, because I love that about my coaching career, is that things are kept confidential, then book a free call. The link is in the bio and the link tree and everything, and I am here for all of you. Follow me for content and for little reminders like, hey, did you do your affirmations today? Just little things like that. And we'll be back next week for the new moon in Cancer, with the sun in Cancer. And so we're all going to be in our feelings. Do not be surprised if I show up in tears, because my moon is in Cancer. So I will either show up in tears because it's Cancer, or super mega happy because my moon is in Cancer. And so my emotions are quite at home when the moon is in Cancer, right? So that's it for me. If you wanted to know about you and your relationship with all of these zodiac signs, then also book a call. We'll get to create your chart and do all the things. I love you all, and I will see you next Monday. Bye, everybody.